We do apologize for the glitch experienced at the beginning of the news. Our engineers were very, very swift. Now to the news. President Bola Tinubu's visits to China and the United Kingdom have ended and expected back in the country soon. During his visit in China, 5 memoranda of understanding were signed between Nigeria and China, which include the cooperation plan between Nigeria and China to jointly promote the Belt and Road Initiative, cooperation in the peaceful application of nuclear energy, and strengthening of cooperation on human resource development under the Global Development Initiative. Others are media exchange and cooperation between China Media Group and the Nigerian Television Authority. Nigeria also signed a memorandum of understanding with China Harbour Engineering Company to build the 68 kilometers Lagos Green Rail line designed to run from the Lekki Freight Zone to Marina and connect with the Blue Line. An MOU for the $1 billion iron ore to steel project planned for Kogi State was also signed between Chat and Capstone Integrated Limited of Nigeria and Sinomac of China. At FOCAC, President Tinubu delivered a paper on global peace, stressing multilateralism and cooperation, essential ingredients for international peace. He also met with representatives of Nigerians in the diaspora organization, China Chapter. President Tinubu left China for London and he met with King Charles III and discussed issues relating to climate change and action. Now to oil and gas. The lifting of petrol has finally commenced at the Dangote refinery, with the facility confirming that 110 million litres ready for loading. Hundreds of trucks belonging to the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited set for the process in motion, actually set the process in motion. The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, describing the development as a key step towards energy self-sufficiency and security. Michael Olale brings us details.
Just like gladiators in search of hidden treasure, the first set of 10 trucks set out towards the gantries to lift the first chunk of locally refined petrol from this facility. The mark time for each, the refinery says, is 40 seconds, with the capacity to dispense petrol to 40 trucks at the same time.
We can generate more than 54 million liters of PMS. And of course, the refinery has a capacity to produce various other products too. 44% of the production can meet the entire requirements of the country. 56% of the production has to be exported. So it's a huge refinery. So it's not only going to be doing import substitution, but it is also going to make forex generation through export revenue. So,
for the Minister of Finance, the development signals a new dawn in the quest to refine locally and the fulfillment of President Bola Tinubu's agenda in stimulating domestic investment and production.
When we talk of exports of products from here, it's because what is being done here is globally competitive. And we look forward to, as efficiency and scales increase and production costs come down, to delivering lower cost products to the Nigerian market.
While the federal government looks forward to the activation of more local refineries, it is believed that this giant step will unlock more economic gains. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NTA News.
And in its ongoing efforts to mitigate the effects of rising fuel prices, the federal government has distributed 150 compressed natural gas kits to transportation unions in Kaduna State to enable them fully transit from petrol to CNG. Mohammed Umar Ajinge reports that similar exercise was also conducted in Zaria.
The CNG conversion kits distributed is part of the federal government Green Energy Agenda program, aimed at ensuring vehicles across the country run entirely on gas to reduce the fuel cost for motorists. The coordinator, supply chain and logistics of CNG initiatives, Thomas Ayu, says these conversion kits will enable the vehicles to switch to CNG, which is a more cost-effective fuel, fulfilling the promise of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration to bring succor to Nigerians since the removal of fuel subsidy.
In line with what Mr. President wants Nigerians the transport sector to enjoy as a result of the removal of fuel subsidy. PICNG, the initiative, is converting cars for the transport companies at complete free.
Today we've received 50 kits with 50 cylinders as well for the conversion for free for 50 first come first serve commercial vehicles from NURTW and other commercial bodies.
The program will be carried out in most states across Nigeria to distribute over 10,000 conversion kits to encourage the use of CNG as a sustainable and cost-effective fuel alternative. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Marajingi, NTA News.
To air transportation, the federal government is set to deploy e-borders to ease air travel in the country. Minister of Interior Olubunmi Tunji gave the indication in Abuja at the end of a two-day training on advanced passenger information and passenger name record. Victor Azu tells us more.
Brick by brick, Nigeria's e-borders are getting set for service.
Giving us this equipment.
This capacity building on use of the Advanced Passenger Information and Passenger Name Record, API-PNR, one of the last stages ahead of deployment, is for officers of the Nigeria Immigration Service that will operate the technological solution. Sueba Ibrahim Aliyu is one of the 100 beneficiaries.
Most importantly, it is making the work easier for us to prepare ahead of time and to secure the borders more proactively.
It's much more than that, says Comptroller General of Immigration, Kemi Nandap, and facilitators of the training, International Air Transport Association, IATA. It gives Nigeria a better global standing.
Not only are we in compliance with international best practices, but our borders are better monitored.
A state who is participating at this data exchange upfront knows who is showing up at its borders and take a decision in order to grant access or not grant access.
And for the Minister of Interior, the occasion calls for special tribute to his aviation and aerospace counterpart, Festus Keyamo.
For 14 years, what stalled this was infighting, aviation, interior. But here we came on board and we understood the fact that the key is for Nigeria to be the winner.
The electronic border solution affords Nigeria the privilege of receiving passengers' digital travel credentials ahead of time. In Abuja, Victor Azu, NTA News.
In other news, the Zamfara State Emergency Management Agency has confirmed the drowning of an unspecified number of persons in a boat mishap in Gumi Town, Zamfara State. Executive Secretary of the agency, Ambassador Bala Gusau, who confirmed the incident, said the victims, mostly women and children, were going to nearby farms when the overloaded boat capsized. He adds that 12 persons, including the captain of the boat, were rescued as search for other missing passengers continues. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu commiserates with the people and government of Zamfara State over recent floods in Gumi local government area and saddened over the death of 40 farmers in a boat mishap over the weekend. While promising to support the victims, the president directs emergency agencies to comprehensively assess the incidents to address causes. He also instructs response agencies to work with the Zamfara State government to help those affected by the disaster. Now, traditional institutions in riverine communities in Niger and Kwara states have put their weight behind the proposed enforcement on use of safety life jackets on Nigerian waterways by the National Inland Waterways Authority to reduce maritime tragedies. This was the position of people of vested interest at a meeting held by Niger Kwara Area Office of NIWA for communities under its jurisdiction. Musa Mikhail reports.
Records shows that just within a space of 8 months, in 2024 alone, more than 116 people, including women and children, have lost their lives in 17 tragic boat accidents across the country. Concerned by this growing spate of preventable deaths, informed the decision of National Inland Waterways Authority, Niger Kwara Area Office to take the sensitization campaign of safety on waterways to the doorstep of water users in Kainjin Lake waterfronts, Malale, Wawa and Patigi communities, where people of vested interest pledged their commitment to the success of the initiative.
The Americans here will try to encourage people to use the life jackets, and we'll try to partner with the NEWA, the other assistance agency, to see how to promote the usage of the life jacket around the river banks.
NEWA is performing well. I'm in support. If there is paper to sign, I'm ready to sign it.
The area office also unveiled the 2023 Water Transportation Code and the launching of waterways marshals.
Sensitization of today is to sensitize us in every area of negligence. We will not take it lightly.
The sensitization by NEWA is being held across the country. Musa Mikhail, NTA News.
The United Nations has approved $6 million humanitarian aid for flood victims in Maiduguri, Borno State. And its agencies say Nigeria needs urgent global support to address humanitarian crisis resulting from the ravaging flood in Borno State. Musa Ali brings us details.
The breach of the Alau Dam in Maiduguri, Borno State brought about anguish, sorrow and uncertainty to the residents of the state. Floods have taken over their houses, leaving them with no option but to move to safer ground. Some of them, mostly the elderly, women and children, were evacuated.
It's very terrible, very terrible. I never pray for even my enemy to experience such a thing.
More than 400,000 people who were displaced are being sheltered in night camps in Maiduguri. An air survey carried out by the United Nations World Food Programme showed that food, shelter and clean water are the immediate needs of the people.
You know, the flood has affected them. They can't have access to their banks even. So what we decided to do is to give 10,000 naira to each of the heads of household, both male and female heads household. This is what we are doing. Then subsequently we'll distribute food and non-food items to all of them.
WFP established kitchen in 3 camps, providing meals to the displaced persons. The Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations said floods in the northeastern states of Adamawa, Borno and Yobe states have compounded the food security challenges in the northeast. United Nations organizations therefore appealed for more funding to support the ongoing humanitarian response. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Minister of Transportation Saidu Ali Ahmed Al-Khali sympathizes with the government and people of Borno over the flood disaster that ravaged the state capital and environs. Correspondent Mohammed Goni reports that the minister was received at the Government House, Maiduguri, by Governor Babagana Umara Zulum.
Excellency, still to extend our condolences and sympathy for the tragedy of the flood disaster. It is indeed very catastrophic. Those who lost their lives and their properties, may Allah forgive their sins and replenish their wealth that they lost during these unfortunate incidents.
I want to sincerely convey my deep appreciation to you and to our delegation for commiserating with us over what has happened to us. And may Almighty Allah reward you abundantly. We wish you safe journey back to your destination in Allah's name.
And the Nigerian Air Force has commenced airlift missions to transport relief materials to victims of the recent flood disaster affecting Maiduguri and its variance. A statement by Deputy Director, Public Relations and Information, Group Captain Kabiru Ali, indicates that the materials donated by the Nigeria Customs Service are aimed at easing the suffering caused by the floods. 300 bags of 50 kg rice were delivered to NAF-based Maiduguri for onward distribution to houses. The NAF also launched a medical outreach program to support flood victims, in addition to feeding of over 2,000 IDPs. Similarly, the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, directed that these operations continue to ensure that both relief materials and medical aid reach all affected areas. Now, a bit on political matters. It is already election week in Edo State and political activities are heating up, with some politicians seeking guidance. Let's now hear from our correspondent Jude Abogo on latest political developments.
As political parties ramp up activities for the September 21 governorship election, Governor Ahmed Ododo of Kogi State leads APC youths across the country to campaign for the party's governorship candidate, Monday Okpewolo.
He's coming to consolidate on his achievements. It is not by noise making, it is by action with positive achievement that we impact in the life of our people. On the 21st of September, make una come out more than this. Make una come and vote Monday Okpewolo and Dennis Idahosa.
Governor Godwin Obaseki woos Edo teachers for votes, urging them to vote PDP candidate Aswe Igodalo to consolidate on his administration's gain in the education sector.
As a government, we believe in you. I'm made to do everything within my power to ensure that you work in an even better environment.
The Labour Party's candidate Olumide Apata was joined by the party's presidential candidate in the last general election, Peter Obi, to seek for God's favor and to pray for a peaceful election in Edo State.
We are praying that God grant peaceful, free, fair and credible election where the person the people voted for will emerge.
Making supplications to the Almighty to remind them that there's that which God can do, but there's also that which they themselves will have to do.
Frontline election observer Yaga Africa makes recommendations to INEC and security agencies over concerns about election violence and voter suppression.
Because I recommend that political parties should adhere to their commitment to the peace accord and promote peaceful participation of their supporters in the election.
Meanwhile, the 5 days extension granted by INEC for PVC's collection has ended at INEC local government offices this Sunday.
Thank you, Jude. 65 years on the throne, strong and healthy, is no mean feat in the traditional society. This is the story of the Obi of Owa Kingdom, His Royal Majesty Obi Emmanuel Ife Izomo II, who marked this milestone in his palace in Agbo, Delta State. Godfrey Nzukwe reports that an array of royal fathers, including the Egberi Emere Okori and Honor Ncha, the 10th of Eleme, Rivers State, His Royal Highness Apollos Chu, attended the event.
The story of our kingdom has been an exciting one for so many years. This has largely been ascribed to the charisma of the Obi, His Royal Majesty Obi Emmanuel Ife Izomo II, who ascended the throne in 1959 and is regarded as one of the longest-serving monarchs in Nigeria. At His Majesty's 65th coronation anniversary, politicians, captains of industry, clerics across the country took turns to pay homage to the monarch. The monarch appreciated God for the successes recorded so far in his kingdom as the traditional ruler.
I preach the gospel of being a brother's keeper amongst my fellow traditional rulers, and you can see that turning out in great numbers. So that's what I represent. I represent an embodiment of truth. I represent an embodiment of hard work.
Throughout the Eberi Emir Okori and Oneche X, King Apollos Chu, regarded as a bridge builder and a campaigner of peace, to make appearance at occasions such as this in a show of solidarity of traditional institutions. He described the celebrant as an accumulating monarch.
For someone to be on the throne for 65 years, call for wonderful celebration and great celebration. And I wish him a wonderful stay on the throne more. I wish him good health, and I wish his kingdom peaceful, and I wish God to continue to give him more long life the remaining years that he had to stay on earth.
At this point in time, it's to pray that God gives him strength and grace to finish well, to establish his legacy.
There were words of exhortation on qualities of a leader by the Bishop of Anglican Diocese of Agbo, Bishop Godfrey Ekpenisi. His Royal Majesty Obi Emmanuel Efezemo II is the 17th Obi of our kingdom. In Owa Oyibo, Godfrey Nzekwe, NTA News.
President Bola Tinubu sends message of goodwill and congratulations to Nigerian Muslims on this year's commemoration of the Maulud Nabi, the birth of Prophet Muhammad. The president urges Muslims to use the occasion to see it as a period for deep reflection and remembrance of the Holy Prophet's exemplary conduct and noble teachings, urging all to imbibe the virtues of selflessness, perseverance, kindness, purity, and compassion. He also advises Muslim faithful to dedicate the Maulud holiday to pray for the country and show empathy always. Now, operatives of the National Drug Enforcement Agency arrested an Oyo State-based businesswoman, Adeomi Adebola Dorcas, and an auto parts dealer, Arinze Ora, over attempts to export consignments of opioids and cocaine to London and Congo-Brazzaville. NDLEA officials at the export shed of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, had on the 6th of September 2024 intercepted a cargo going to the United Kingdom. A thorough search of the consignment revealed 924 bottles of codeine-based syrup weighing 135.70 kilograms and 5,250 tablets of Rofinol were hidden in cartons of foodstuff. Now to the foreign scene, 2 passenger trains collide in Egypt, killing at least 3 persons, just as migrant ship capsizes en route France and England Channel. Kolo Mohammed brings us details.
The crash happened in the city of Zagzag, the capital of Sharjah province, the country's railway authorities said in a statement. Egyptian Health Ministry said the collision injured 40 others. Train derailments and crashes are common in Egypt, where an aging rail system has also been plagued by mismanagement. In recent years, the government announced initiatives to improve its railways. 8 migrants died early Sunday when the overcrowded vessel conveying them capsized while trying to cross the channel from France to England. French authorities say this came 2 weeks after the deadliest of such disaster this year. The French and British governments have sought for years to stop the flow of migrants who pay smugglers thousands of euros per head for passage to England from France aboard small boats. Climatologists say the weather condition determines the decision to take the dangerous journey. As the weather improves, thousands more risk it all to take the journey. Amid so much tragedy, there was a very different but still incredible picture. A baby was born on another migrant rescue boat. Similarly, 1 person has drowned in Poland and an Australian fireman has died responding to floods, authorities say on Sunday, as Storm Boris batters Central and Eastern Europe with torrential rains. Since midweek, swaths of Austria, the Czech Republic, Hungary, Romania and Slovakia have been hit by high winds and unusually fierce rainfall. Around 1,600 people have been evacuated in Koloski, and Polish authorities have called in the army to support firefighters. Kolo Muhammad, NTA.
Let's now talk sports. Bade, our sportsman, is set to share some reports with us. Bade.
Many thanks, Elizabeth. Let's begin with Nigerian interest